What's up, everybody? Uh, so I wanted to talk about a couple things here. I don't know if it's really a couple things; it's just mostly just one thing. so, uh, so yesterday, or actually, was it yesterday? Um, Bear with me here. I'm looking on my YouTube channel stuff. I think it was the night before. I had created one of my rambling videos. uh, it was a video about asking oneself what an ordinary world is in today's world. In today's By today's measurement, what does it mean to live in an ordinary world? And interestingly enough, and not really surprisingly enough, I decided to do a little bit of an analysis, or at least not really an analysis, but just like I guess like I included the Duran Duran song "Ordinary World" into my video, and I kind of anticipated concerns about copyright flaggings or restrictions on my YouTube channel because I realized obviously that it was a copyrighted piece of artwork, but it wasn't really something that I had in my mind trying to exploit for my own gain per se. It was really that I was trying to relate how I felt about the video and about the music to today's world and today's circumstances. Because in the video, I can't really remember even what I discussed in the opening stuff, but towards the middle, towards the end, or at the middle towards the end, I included playthrough of Ordinary World, but I made sure to kind of segment it up with my own commentary and my own reflections about how certain elements of the song made me feel, and how I guess it made me imagine today's world concerning what it means to live in an ordinary world. And there was a lot of stuff that I kind of discussed in it, concerning what I believe the band actually made the song about, which from what I remember, I believe it was about the lead singer. I can't remember what his name is, John Bon or something like that. Let me look it up here because I don't want to be wrong about this. Duran members. Simon Le Bon. Okay, he's the lead vocalist. And from what I remember out of reading about the background of that song, I think there was something that happened in Simon's personal life where he lost a really close friend, and essentially the song symbolized how he was trying to move on with that massive loss, and how his heart was trying to rebound from such a tragedy. So there's that I guess there's that real substantive rationale for the song. But then I also included aspects about how I interpreted or how I felt the song, okay? Because I feel a lot of stuff whenever I listen to certain kinds of songs. Duran Duran's Ordinary World is definitely one of them. Because whenever I sit there and I watch that music video and I listen to the song, for anybody who's ever seen the music video, you see that really beautiful woman with the chick kind of dress wear and the glamorous hat and stuff, and she's sitting there looking at that projection of the band. And I mentioned stuff about how I felt like that was a temporary portal into a different kind of world for just a moment of time. And I really do believe that, man. I feel like whenever I watch that video, and it's not just that video, man, I feel like this with many other music videos and stuff. But with that song in particular, there's something strange about that music and about that music video where I see this world that's depicted in a few minutes. I see this woman who's walking around carrying like a bouquet of flowers, and she's really dressed up and glammed up and stuff, and she's walking around, and her purpose doesn't really make sense. And it's that mystery of her that, I don't know, man, there's something really alluring about it. But there's something also too about how she's looking at that big projection of the Duran Duran band. You know, they're in the music video, they're showing their gestures and you know, playing their instruments, and she's sitting there almost entranced by it. And I don't know, maybe I'm just looking too far into it, man, but as somebody who was born in '83, I remember feeling what I felt whenever I first listened to that music video, or whenever. First of all, I remember how I felt when I first listened to the video or music. I mean, I was sitting in my college's. I was sitting in one of my college's parking spots. One of the big lots that we have that a majority of the students would normally park in whenever they would have evening classes and stuff. And back then, you know, back in like 2000, I don't know, man, 2000 maybe 4 or something like that. I was in my stupid beater car eating sushi, and it was one of the first moments that I had ever actually exposed myself to sushi. And you know, back then I didn't know anything about sushi. I didn't really know the culture of sushi. I didn't know anything about how it was prepared. I fucking knew nothing about it, man, but I loved it. And the reason I loved it is because here I am, you know, I'm an Indiana farm boy who at the time was rarely exposed to certain different kinds of cultures and stuff like that, and different kinds of foods and whatnot. You know, back then I was mostly grown with, you know, fucking corn and steak, which I'm not complaining about, you know. I know that there's a lot of people out there that don't have that kind of fortune, so I'm not at all complaining about any of that. But to be exposed to the kind of culture shock that one goes through from high school to college with the different kinds of ways of thinking about things. I remember succinctly sitting in my car eating the sushi, and it was one of those kinds of, like, you know, you know how certain kinds of big box grocery stores sometimes prepare those little cooler things of sushi, you know? Most of the time they're normal sushi, but this particular day I decided to be adventurous and get one of those non-standard things of sushi where it has like the lobster tail and the fish eggs and, you know, a bunch of shit that a veteran sushi connoisseur would actually wind up wanting. And at this time I had only had sushi like a few times, you know, so I was definitely jumping out of my element here. But here I was, man, sitting in this little beat up car that I had at the time, eating the sushi, you know, because I was basically trying to get some food in before my evening class that I was having at the time. Because at the time I was pursuing my undergraduate studies at my alma mater. And so I was sitting there eating this shit, man, and it fucking sucked. It was so horrible, man. Or at least it was for me at the time, because it was super fishy. It was really fucking gross. It just was not doing what you want for somebody who's wanting to get into sushi. But it was all good, man, because I was sitting there trying to muscle through it. You know, it was just one of those kinds of things where it's like a small thing in life where, okay, yeah, the sushi isn't the best, but you're living life, man. You're experiencing certain kinds of things. You're getting to take classes that a lot of people out there in the world don't get the advantage of being able to enjoy, you know, and you're gonna wind up having a class here in a few minutes, you know, let's just enjoy it. And it was an enjoyable thing, despite the fact that the sushi sucked, or at least it wasn't at my level, you know. I couldn't handle it, and I remember not really eating a lot of it. But apropos, so I'm sitting there in the car, you know, just kind of chilling, trying to down the sushi, and I was listening to one of my local radio stations, and here comes and on the radio was the next song was Duran Duran's "Ordinary World." Now, you know, excuse me, I've heard this song numerous times up to that point, but this particular time, though, it was the first time where I managed to kind of sit there and soak up the standard version of the song that has the awesome guitar riff somewhere in the middle, you know, where he gets done with his first line and then he gets on with the second line, and then suddenly the fucking guitar just opens up the floodgates, man. And I remember sitting there in my stupid little car hearing that for the first time, or at least in the sense that it was the first time that I focused on that music. It was the first time that I focused on the appreciation of that guitar that I was hearing in that moment from that song, where beforehand I had never heard that guitar riff the way that it was accentuated at that moment. And I remember thinking to myself, man, at that moment I was like, God damn, that is fucking amazing. And it really is, man. It's fucking awesome. And if you go out there on YouTube and you listen to that song, I know it's a song that's played on the radio all the goddamn time. So maybe it's just one of those things that everybody's kind of gotten used to, you know. But it's one of those songs, for me at least, in my heart of hearts, where every goddamn time I hear that song, it's almost as if there's something magical about it, man. It's like this fucking temporary portal opens up, and I get to step through this portal into a different world for a few minutes, and I feel all of the, I don't know what it is, man. It's, a lot of people would probably characterize it as, what's the word that I'm thinking of?
Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in...
Oh, the word, I don't know, man. The word that you... The word that you end up using whenever you're describing something from the past. You guys know what it is, man. I've got a brain fart right now because there's a lot of stuff that's going on in my mind right now about all this. But long story short, I remember sitting in my car, listening to that song, hearing that guitar riff, and just something about it, man, just kind of hit home with me. It was like driving a dagger in my heart, and I remember thinking to myself, man, I wish I could go back in time or step through whatever this portal is and live in that world permanently. And every time I see that music video and every time I hear that song, it's the same thing, man. So anyway, a couple nights ago, I tried to describe all this stuff, okay? It was just one of those nights where, you know, you're sitting around, you're trying to come up with things to kind of, I guess, occupy your mind. Because for me, I mean, for me, man, Sunday nights can be a little rough sometimes because I'm sitting there, you know, thinking about all the shit that I'm going to have to fuck around with this coming week. Or that week where, you know, you're going back to work, you've got all these responsibilities that you got to dick around with, you got all the people that you've got to interact with that you don't want to have to mess with, you got all the stuff at work that you've got to fuck around with, you know, you've just got all of the stuff. It's like fucking overwhelming. But the one thing sometimes that carries me through that stress and that anxiety and that fucking hopelessness it's not only the alcohol. And by the way, if you've never had Sunhari soju, it's fucking badass, man. You really got to take a bottle of this stuff. It's really great. But besides that, though, the thing that winds up getting me through those kinds of rough nights is definitely those old music videos. And the reason being is because it winds up, like I said earlier, man, there's something about the music and the video and the artistry and the symbolism that just winds up, it's like there's some sort of mental portal, a mental emotional portal that opens up and allows me to kind of step away from my world and into a different world just for a few fucking minutes. And it's like I just find a way to temporarily escape. Now, I will be honest with you, man, and I feel kind of weird saying this shit on a YouTube video because I can only imagine what some people might be thinking as they're sitting here listening to this shit. But alcohol does help with that. And I don't know what it is, man. It's like the third door shit or something. But it just does, man. It's like alcohol winds up dropping the armor enough where you get to temporarily relieve yourself of the everyday kinds of struggles. And I got to be honest with you, man. From my 42 years of age, I've come to understand now fully why humanity created alcohol. And it's exactly because of this shit, man. There's something about it where there's something that happens in the mind when you've had a few drinks. For some of you, it might be full-blown blasted. For me, sometimes I'm able to kind of feel the stuff after a little bit of a buzz. You know, nothing major or anything. But there's just something about alcohol that seems to bridge that gap between everyday based reality and whatever the fuck is out is out there, you know. And again, if I've had a couple of drinks and I watch that Duran Duran video, and it's not just that video, man, and there's a bunch of other videos that through time I'm gonna try to cover, but the Duran Duran video with Ordinary World, man, there's just something weird about that music video, man, and the music itself it's just like I said earlier, man, it's just that it's like this temporary mental emotional doorway opens up and I can step through it for a few moments and like live in a different reality. And it's just so fucking magical, man. It's magical, it's strange, it's really, really I don't know. It's just really mysterious. And I can't figure it out. Nostalgia. That's the word that I was looking for. Nostalgia. Some people would describe it as just simple nostalgia. I don't think it's just nostalgia, though, man. I think there's something way more than that with this. But anyway, I tried to make a video about all of this stuff a couple nights ago. And of course, I uploaded it to YouTube, and I tried my best to kind of segment it in between the pieces of the music that I included from that music video in order to try to bypass, of course, the fucking copyright shit that YouTube now is fucking infested with. And it blocked it, you know, blocked it, visibility, blah, 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 copyright, blah, blah, blah. You know, and it got me thinking about a lot of the stuff that I wound up rambling about in that video, because one subject that I brought up in that video was not only this sense about an underground, which I've discussed before in some of my other videos. I think I brought that topic up in my Massive Attacks protection video that I made before this last one, back on, what was it, March 22nd, I guess. But there was stuff in there about not only the underground aspect of life, but also where things are headed. And again, it kind of coincided with the whole Ordinary World subject matter, because you got to sit there and ask yourself, man, where are we headed in society when everything is fucking AI automated and you can't even express yourself without having these different multiple layers of analysis being done against the things that you express as opinion? And it's just worrisome, man. I don't think that there's a lot of people out there that are really taking this shit as seriously as they need to be. And what worries me also, too, with some of this stuff is the fact that we've got now a president, and I love Trump. I really do. I think he's a good man underneath all the stuff that we see in the media. And I'll always vote for him as much as I can. But I don't want it for one second to seem as if I'm drunk on his Kool-Aid, though, either. The man is not above reproach. He obviously makes mistakes. And one thing that I think he's making a mistake with is this advocacy of these AI data centers without any apparent regard for what it's going to wind up meaning for the rest of the constituency. You know, as somebody who works in IT, I can tell you full well how this is going to wind up playing out. These data centers are going to get made. Your utility costs are going to increase. Your censorship aspects of everyday life concerning how you use things like websites like YouTube are going to wind up increasing. You're going to be pinched even more. And when that shit happens, there's not going to be a single fucking thing that you can do about it, because these goddamn data centers and big tech companies, they're going to be completely safe from layers of litigation insulation. They've got fucking massive teams of lawyers seeking to make sure that they're protected before they even sign anything. And when that shit happens, man, you got to sit there and ask yourself, how are people going to ever be able to completely explain themselves in an honest, legitimate, transparent way? Because things are growing more and more narrow with that ability. And it's literally getting to a point to where you literally have to make your own website just to be able to freely express yourself. And that goes only as far as whether or not your ISP or your host providers allow. Because they obviously want to get pinched, or they don't want to get pinched whenever you say something that contradicts their lexicon, you know. And so what does it mean to live in an ordinary world? Because I don't fucking know what that means anymore. You know, with everything that's going on in the world, from politics to employment and job opportunities, to these foreign relations entanglements, to this ICE shit that's going on. I mean, my God, man, you gotta sit there and ask yourself, where the fuck is everything headed? And it worries me because I don't see anybody out there that really seems to really be showing much concern the way that I would normally expect out of some of this type of shit. And I don't know what to say about it, man. I don't know what to say about it. That's the reason sometimes I load up on my escape hatch and I watch those stupid videos sometimes so that I can temporarily at least find some level of alleviation from this. And I really think we're in trouble, man. And for whatever it's worth, I don't really blame Trump, but I also don't really blame people like Biden or Kamala. I'm not going to sit here and act as if I think we would be better with Kamala or Biden or anybody else. I feel like I'm at the point now to where I'm above trying to align with a specific tribe now. I feel like all of this shit, man, I feel like it's kind of centering around I feel like it's centering around what these companies are being allowed to do. It really okay. So anybody who's ever seen that Aliens, it's that latest TV show, Aliens something something. One of the main themes in that show is how basically companies have created their own government, sovereign governments. Okay, and I really feel like that's kind of the trajectory we're on now. So I feel like, you know, fucking Google, Facebook, Microsoft, you know, all of these big companies, multinational conglomerate type companies, man, they've got so much fucking power and control over what people are doing that it really is getting to a point to where you can't freely express yourself anymore. And I don't know where that's headed, man. But it's scary. It really is fucking scary. I mean, whenever I get on there and I try to ramble about something related to Duran Duran's Ordinary World or some other freaking music video, and it winds up having to go through these various layers of evaluation to determine whether or not it's okay with the fucking collective, I don't know what that means for humanity. I mean, where are we going, man? Is there anybody out there that's fucking doing anything about this shit? Because I don't see anybody. As much as I love Trump, that fucker is not doing enough to take care of this, whatever it means to take care of. I mean, I don't know what has to happen, but there's something there that has to give because people are not being allowed their basic humanity. And it's just going to get worse, man, with all of these new data centers that are getting created, and you know, that badass NSA data center that's out there in wherever, fucking Utah or wherever it is, you know, they're already snooping in on our shit. You know they are. I just don't. There's not really any point, I guess, in rambling about this shit, man. I guess you guys know where my temperature is with this, and you know, again, I don't mean to come across as a weirdo or anything, because I'm definitely not, man. I'm a pretty normal guy. but working in IT, knowing what I know concerning how these companies get away with some of the shit that they get away with, man, it's fucking pissing me off. And I don't, it makes me even angrier seeing how nobody's fucking trying to stop it. I don't know what to say anymore about it, I guess, you know? But here I am, man. I'm 42 years old. I'm seeing this stuff kind of happen the way it is. And it's really frustrating whenever you're sitting there trying to find ways to express your anger or your frustration with everything that's going on. You try to use the standard approaches with stuff. Nobody listens to you. You know, they're all just waiting for their chance to speak over you. I don't know where things are headed, man. But I would love to know if any of you guys feel the same way. Assuming any of you guys watch this, listen to it. It's really, really got me frustrated. And I'll admit, a lot of it is because of that stupid ass copyright restriction shit that YouTube did. But it put things into a perspective that I don't think I was taking as seriously as I needed to beforehand. So anyway, share, like, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm hoping you will, man. I know that this is like a ramble video, and I know that it isn't really everyone's shtick. And if you don't want to comment, it's fine. I'm not gonna, you know, cry myself to sleep at night over it or anything. But I would love to know, though, what your opinions are if you do happen to listen to this and have some thoughts about it. I just want to feel like I'm not alone in this, man, because I know that I'm not. But why I don't see as much stuff about it as I feel like I expect is what's, I don't know, it's strange to me. It's like there's just, it's almost like Black Mirror or some shit, you know? It's like I'm sitting here trying to rationalize where everything's going and where everyone's temperature is with this shit and why there isn't anything being done about it. So anyway, that's it for me. I wanted to make something tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to make another RimWorld video just because, you know, I don't have my workout day tomorrow because I just got done doing a jog today. So tomorrow it will be RimWorld. One of these days I'm going to try to make another video where I talk about music and stuff like that and how it makes me feel and the stuff that I feel like it relates to in today's world. But for tonight, this is all we're doing. So anyway, again, let me know what you think. Share, like, and subscribe. And I hope you guys are doing okay. Hang in there if you're not, okay? Seriously. And until the next time.